Just going to warn everyone ahead of time. Yes, I know I don't look great. I'm very sick, and I do apologise, but we're just going to have to live with that one. Welcome everyone to a new edition of Spoiler Warning featuring myself, Tom Colohue, where we talk the biggest wrestling news in the wrestling news industry. And as usual, there's been a whole heap of it. Thank you very much, Pete. Appreciate you renewing your subscription for a 13th month. Matthew Johnson, much the same. Thank you very kindly for your renewal as well. Great to see so many familiar faces. There is, of course, an absolute bucket load of wrestling news, even just around one person. That one person will be our top story today, that being an update on Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks, and there's a reason we'll be referring to her as formerly known as Sasha Banks. If you've been following the news recently as regards Mercedes Mone, you will know full well that my report from 3 weeks ago that the WWE had made a big money offer that did not include use of the Mercedes Mone name, but did include a return to the use of the Sasha Banks name. You'll already be fully aware of everything that has happened in the weeks since. We've seen plenty of other journalists playing catch up to try and work out what's happening. Simplest reality first. We're going to have plenty to talk about, including a little bit more. I can see questions about the Royal Rumble, about other signees going to AEW. There will be talk about Stardom, Drew McIntyre's plans for WrestleMania, and Money in the Bank. But can you do something for me? As we do this, and as I try and fight off coughing, there are 88 people here right at the start. There are 87 people here right at the start of the stream. That means we can break a record here today. If we're able to get 9 more likes, 10% of the viewership, 9 more likes within the next 60 seconds, we break records. So as I get to everything Sasha Banks, Mercedes Mone related, hit that like button. Let's fill this room up. Let's fill this room up so that we can spread the word that the Tom Colohue YouTube channel is not just here, it's here to stay, and there is plenty of good stuff coming out of it. So, our first story, we will get to the chat. Keep those messages coming. Our first story will, of course, be as regards Mercedes Mone. Thank you, Dan. Vitamin C is Sunny D right in my veins pretty much non-stop. Mercedes Mone. I previously reported that she had been fielding a huge offer from the WWE, a colossal amount of money, as Triple H stopped playing around and made it very clear that he would move hell or high water and high water to make this deal happen. This deal has not happened. The main reason, as I mentioned when I reported it, was that the name Sasha Banks was going to be used. This was part of the deal, and it was a Nick Khan initiative. He wanted to use the name Sasha Banks, not Mercedes Mone. Triple H is more open to the idea, but it is not Triple H who would be signing off on this one. With this in mind, while a huge offer did come in from the WWE, it is not an offer that Mercedes Mone is believed to be too interested in. As I reported more than a year ago, it is not about money for Mercedes Mone, which is hilarious and ironic, I know, but it is the case. It is not about money. It is about the expansion of the Mercedes brand, and I can't blame anyone for that. She wants to build a brand that will stand the test of time, that will last her for generations to come, and that will allow her to have generations to come. She's looking for a future. She's looking for a full future. That will be the Mercedes brand, as you can see with the business endeavours that she is currently pursuing. Now, the WWE have shown willing to give her pretty much everything else that she wants. And this is one of the main reasons we're starting to hear so much about a WWE working relationship with Japan and with Stardom. Mercedes Money does want to work in Japan. These negotiations initially started with Bryan Danielson, and Triple H believes there is a way to bring Bryan Danielson back to the WWE, but it will involve having more to offer him. They're trying to offer Mercedes something else, but they are not at this point willing to offer her the name Mercedes Money. AEW are now believed to be the frontrunner, much as they were several weeks ago. Mercedes was waiting and fielding offers. She was never going to sign anything before we got to the turn of the year. Now that these moments have come, AEW are back in pole position, and AEW at this point has started up a little feel of panic about itself. We know that things are not going as they were. We know that Tony Khan is starting to struggle. He's looking for new top-level stars. He believes Mercedes Money will be the one, and he is willing to go into a deficit in order to give her whatever she wants. As previously mentioned, it's not about money for Mercedes Money. Anyone reporting that it is getting things from the wrong sources. TNA did attempt to make a bid for Mercedes Money. To say that she threw it to one side pretty quickly would be a massive understatement. She simply wasn't interested in what they could offer. The same is true of the offer they made for Will Ospreay. The same is true of the offer that they made for CM Punk. TNA believes it is in a position to compete. Wrestlers do not. Ooh. We have 105 people watching. We did indeed break a record. 51 likes before we finished that 5 past section, which is our little deadline here. Thank you very kindly, very much, everyone. I lost track of what happened in the chat while I was going over that news, so I do apologise. Any questions that you want to ask, please start asking them now, and we will get to them. So any questions that you've got, drop them in the chat now. While I go through the additional news that I've got, I will answer your questions as well. So I'm going to start with Bailey. Welcome, Bailey. Says, if TK, Tony Khan, gives her CM Punk or more salary, is that going to cause backstage issues? No, because CM Punk's salary is less than half of what Jon Moxley makes. It's actually not a lot. Robin Dave LP says, what's WWE's plan on Rock versus Roman? There is not a planned match between The Rock and Roman Reigns. The Rock was in town, took the opportunity to announce himself and pop a rating and teased the crowd, knowing what would happen. The WWE are trying to make the match happen. Nothing has been formalised as of yet. James says, TK will definitely overpay for money, which will put them deeper in a hole. Quite possibly, yes. He also firmly believes she might be the only way out of the hole. Which I can't really blame him. It is quite a hole. Yeah. Spider-Boss says, according to Fightful, WWE and TNA are in talks for the return of Trinity, formerly known as Naomi, to WWE. Interesting, because why would TNA be involved in talks if Naomi is going to be a WWE wrestler? Sounds to me like this is going to be a one-time Royal Rumble appearance, much like it was with Mickie James many years back. Because if they're in negotiations with another company, then surely there is no actual formal contract negotiation happening. Joey says, do you have any additional news on Kevin Dunn leaving the WWE? Not at this point. He believed his time was up. Everyone else agreed. Alyssa says, why is The Rock back? Because he was available and he popped a rating. Noodles, welcome, says Tom. Seems to be a fake you going about. You were commenting on SCW Wrestling last week. Yeah, there's it's not particularly difficult for a new account to set up and put my name on itself. There has been an account going into other chats releasing exclusives. the only place for exclusive wrestling news on the Tom Colohue channel is on the Tom Colohue channel. So hopefully people are aware of that. James says AOP tonight. AOP is one of those constant recurring things that we're constantly hearing about that has apparently been in the company for a year and a half. This seems like a good time to do it. Now that we're back live, would certainly be helpful, and Karrion Kross needs it, but I wouldn't count my chickens. Silvic says, hello Tom, hope you're doing well. Is there any truth on Camille and Naomi rumours to join WWE? Is Andrade going to show up on SmackDown tonight? That's a lot of questions, very direct about what's going to happen tonight. As regards Andrade, I don't know. They didn't have particular plans for him as of yet, so they may need time to write them. As regards Camille, I haven't heard anything about that myself. And as regards Naomi, as I just mentioned, if there is a negotiation between WWE and TNA, then there is no deal with Naomi. No worries, Bismo. I have done for a while. I'm actually better than I was. Joey said, are they teasing a Rock match to try to get more money from Australia for the Elimination Chamber? Money has already changed hands as regards Elimination Chamber. They will not be able to increase the amount at this point. They may be able to increase ticket sales, but to my knowledge, they're doing pretty good in that regard. Alex says, Mercedes hasn't actually signed a contract anywhere yet, as you know, because Andrew Zarian said the decision is done. The decision might be done. Doesn't necessarily mean a contract has been signed. AEW contracts, if she has signed one, even then, would not be valid until she starts wrestling. Mark says, sorry I'm late, hope you're feeling better. Feeling okay? I'm not feeling terrible, which is an upgrade. And if you're not feeling terrible about this here show and this here live stream, if you're enjoying the content that we make here, please do consider hitting subscribe. 2 more likes as well gets us to 60, so please do consider it. Bailey says, at 51, I don't think The Rock can run a match anymore. He looked sort of winded in that Raw promo. He absolutely can. After all, matches can last as little as 4 seconds. One says, since AEW is a front runner for Mercedes money, that means less TV time for Britt and everyone down the card. Yes, including Deonna Purrazzo, who's just signed there. Sean says, New York Times named Becky Lynch's 2023 Women's Superstar of the Year. I can't blame them. She's pretty big. Damon says, I think Triple H will pay more for Mercedes than Tony Khan. He absolutely would. Doesn't matter though. Joey says, do you know if Andrade is expected to go back to the WWE? I've been saying for about a year and a half now, Andrade will return to the WWE as soon as his contract expires with AEW. Kevin says, if Tony Khan gets Mercedes money, that's a big W because she's a draw. She very much is, and he knows that. Cheers, Ed. Love you too. Absolutely magnificent. Just what I wanted. Michael says, SRS and Andrew Zarian are pretty confident that Mercedes goes to AEW. Me too. I have been for about 6 months. Spider-Boss says, thank you for Mercedes money news. So SRS trying to take credit for the Mercedes money news. Yeah, he always does. You know how this works. Not on a table, Mr. Stumble. I don't know what you're going for there, but I imagine it's a trap. Mustafa says here for a like. Thank you, Mustafa. I appreciate that. Every like does really help the growth of the channel. And at the moment, spoiler warning's in a really great position. I've missed a few weeks, so I'm concerned that we'll lose momentum. The fact that we have 118 people here suggests that might not be the case. Oh, at the head of the table, Mr. Stumble. There we are. Jaden says, will there be a watch-along? There will not be a watch-along tonight. I mean, look at me. I cannot do that. Sorry, guys. I apologise for this. It's particularly gruesome, but I have to do it. Okay, still alive. Still alive. So no watch along tonight. I can't countenance staying up until 3 a.m. I just can't do it. Next week, if I'm better. Lauren says, hi, boss man. Welcome back. Welcome, Lauren. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Always a good time. David says, WWE and AJPW deal only a one-off, or are there future plans on working together? I mentioned this during our opening piece of news. If you want to zip it back about 15 minutes, David, it's all there. Michael says, is there truth to WWE lowballing Mercedes as far as pay? Not to my knowledge, no. As I've mentioned, it's not all about the money for Mercedes money. We keep hearing people say, oh, it's all about money, it's all about money. It's not. It genuinely isn't. It's about the branding, it's about the growth, it's about the future. A lot of people seem to be reporting on Mercedes who really don't know the first thing about her. King Adder says, hey Tom, if The Rock and Roman does happen, can you see it happening at EC or WrestleMania 40? Yes, I can. Alyssa says, how are they going to end Shinsuke Nakamura, Cody Rhodes? Don't think feud hurt momentum. It's basically a distraction, the idea being that you'll actually have the momentum hurt. It's supposed to hurt the momentum so you don't think Cody's going to win the Rumble. Steve says, hello, Tom and chat. Hope you're well and had a good start to the new year. Welcome, Steve. Nice to see you, mate. No, I didn't come into your chat a few days ago. Turns out there's a fraud going around pretending to be me and making up exclusives. But nice to see you, mate. I hope you knew better. The dude says, happy new year, Tom and chat. Hope you feel better soon. Me too, mate. Me too. Happy new year to everyone in the chat and, of course, to you too, the dude. I hope everyone has a fantastic 2024. We will be talking about my plans for it before the end of the show. Thank you, Alyssa. It's very nice for you to say. Sean says, Sean Spears is gone from AEW and MJF is no longer being listed on their roster page. MJF is still actively with AEW at this point in time. As regards to Sean Spears, I did not expect him to do well. Joey says, do you know if Mercedes actually signed on the dotted line yet? With AEW yet, or talk still ongoing? As I say, even if she has signed something, it won't be legally binding until she actually starts wrestling. Rob says, how do you think TK handled the Chris Jericho allegations? La 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 la. That seems like a fair impression. Hello, Martin. Nice to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Michael says, SRS said basically Mercedes would get her own segment in addition to a match. I mean, she a draw. What can I say? Noob says, hope you're feeling better soon, Mr. Colohue. Me too, mate. Me too. Fingers crossed. Nice to see you. Josh says, cough on that like button, everybody. I like you. Wiggly says, yo, 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 what up and happy new year. Welcome, Wiggly. Mr. Stumble says, hey, Tom, do you think hell will freeze over again one day with name redacted going into the Hall of Fame one day? No. One says, TK will hotshot book Mercedes money and adios to timeless Tony Storm title reign. Quite possibly, yes. These are the risks entailed in bringing in a much, much bigger name. Sai says, welcome back, Tom, and get well soon. Happy New Year all. Welcome, Sai. Nice to see you, mate. I still had the holiday overlay live when I came in to the stream. It was a good reminder and also the cause of a huge coughing fit. Wiggly says, I'm confused. Will The Rock be on SmackDown tonight? Will Reigns respond? Are we having Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania 40? And what does this mean for Cody? All good questions. Sean says, your thoughts on Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler appearing at Wrestle Kingdom. Knew was coming. Very excited for it. I think he'll do very well there. Also, to be fair, Bullet Club really need it. JJ says, hey Tom, do you know what's next for Drew since he lost against Seth? Yes, we will be talking about Drew McIntyre as one of our news pieces. In fact, we might as well jump into that now. I've talked about Mercedes, I've talked about Stardom. Drew McIntyre is set for a match at WrestleMania. He looks set to face off with Sami Zayn. The feud with Sami Zayn looks set to kick off at the Royal Rumble time. After all, it will be Drew McIntyre's only real opportunity to take on the Bloodline. He will be trying to get some revenge on Jey Uso at the same time, but Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso have their own little feud to be getting on with. Drew McIntyre will be wrestling Jey Uso after WrestleMania if he signs a new deal. Let's not forget that Drew McIntyre did have a couple of months out for injury, so WrestleMania will be very telling. What happens after WrestleMania will likely be him being jobbed out of the company if he has not already signed a new deal, which, as of right now, he has not. Cheers, Wiggly. Always nice to see someone say you look terrible. Always lovely. Joey says, you know, we'll take over Kevin Dunn's position. I'd imagine Jeremy Borash would be someone. Could be someone. Chances are it'll be someone new. And they will use a wider production team to work out what the show will look like going forwards. Thank you, 23. Spider-Boss says, at this point, I just hope Roman gets a different opponent for WrestleMania 40 that would not be Cody. It will be Cody. Jaden says, there were reports Mercedes WWE profile has been updated. They did the same with CM Punk before he returned. Did they? Did you personally see two different CM Punk profiles? Alan says, PWInsider reported WWE expect Trinity back after she is finished up with Impact, which would be the end of January. If that's the case, we have to ask some serious questions as to whether or not Impact are able to keep their talent. Noob says, your thoughts on Dolph Ziggler surprising everyone in his New Japan debut at Wrestle Kingdom. Not everyone. Leon says, hope you're doing well, Tom. Nasty cough there. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But honestly, I'm quite glad to be back. I really am. I've missed doing this. It's 2 hours a week for spoiler warning, and I just get to hang out with friends and talk wrestling. It's great. Bismo says, at least you're feeling better, Tom. I am feeling a lot better, Bismo, thank you. Wiggly says, what's the news with the UK WWE PLE? Seems the calendar is nearly full except for SummerSlam. Calendar's not full. There's a whole second half of the year. Damon says, I've heard Monday Night Raw superstars are invading SmackDown tonight. 3 Raw superstars. Where have you heard that from, Damon? Give me a source. Joey says, is WWE working with AJPW to help launch NXT Japan? Nope. Josh says, feels like if Mercedes money goes to AEW under that name, it would make WWE more resolute that she only came back as Sasha. Yeah, WWE are already pretty resolute and simply unwilling to negotiate on this one. Clyde says, continue kicking out of 2 against that fever. You got this, Tom. Thank you, Clyde. I never considered it was going to be life-threatening until just now. So thanks for that. You all are lovely. You're all lovely. Thank you, Martin. I very much appreciate your generosity. Says, big up for streaming whilst ill. Happy New Year. I missed streaming. I missed being able to hang out with you guys. It's not just you guys missing me. I miss you too. So thank you, Martin, for your continued support and generosity. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Although I did, because I was very, very sick. Also, my children were, which makes it a lot worse. Because you also have to then look after the children to make sure they don't get worse. Alex says, could WWE come back in with another offer, or do you really believe it's done? I don't believe it's done. I don't believe it's done. The WWE certainly can come back with another offer. Thank you, Wiggly. Once again, more thank yous for your continued generosity as well. 28 months of subscription. You have been here quite a time. 2 years and 4 months of support. And I thank you for every second of it. So Vic says, who do you think from free agents would show up in the Royal Rumble? AJ Lee, certainly getting a lot of heat behind her. Wiggly, gonna need a source? WrestleZone, you say. Hearing SummerSlam 2024 will be in Cleveland, Ohio. That'll be a good time for Alexa Bliss to make an appearance. Dimitar says, Zarian is reporting the AEW deal is 90% made. There is no such thing as 90% made. It is either made or it's not made. Anyone reporting on percentages needs to think about what they're actually doing. Zane says, I don't want to see Camille sign with WWE. She'll be in catering. Would rather see her sign with TNA. She'll get more TV time. Everyone will get more TV time at TNA, but they'll get less exposure. Happy New Year, Chris. Spider-Boss says, for all people that want Cody versus Roman with some exceptions, Roman has never faced the same guy at WrestleMania. So with some exceptions. So he has then. Jaden says, if Sasha shows up in the Rumble, do you think she has a big chance of winning? Nope. Spider-Boss says, when I saw the Jericho scandal, it was difficult to believe because it came from Nick Hausman. He's really not helped himself with how openly he is a mouthpiece of CM Punk. King Azza says, hey Tom, do you see many surprises in the Royal Rumble? I absolutely do. Bailey says, a Chris Jericho chatter goes away until another person comes forward and then things get heated. JJ says, do you see AJ Lee coming back for the Rumble? I certainly think that's possible, yes. Spider-Boss says, finally the devil was revealed and it was Adam Cole. I'm interested in the storyline. Quite a lot of people are, so honestly, that's a good thing for AEW. They managed to get some attention. Once again, they just need to do more now to make it stick. Oof. Coup43 sourcing via PWInsider says, WWE sources have confirmed an NXT deal was offered to former NWA Women's Champion Camille. Eric says, your health is very important. We don't want to start 2024 spoiler warning with you being sick. Too late. Too late. Thomas says, hi Tom, sorry that I'm... and hope that you're all feeling better now. I'd imagine that's sorry that you're ill. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Michael Breen quote says, SRS said the plan with Mercedes money coming in is to give her own segments, meaning one additional women's match promo interview per show. So it's adding more women to the show, not taking away from it. Yes, however, while that might be the plan, it will likely devolve down to one segment which includes Mercedes money. So I simply don't believe it. We've had that promise before. Mr. Stumble says, do you think Rock will bring up Philadelphia booing him at the Rumble back in 2015 for the build-up to WrestleMania 40? Depends whether or not he's involved at WrestleMania 40. Kervin says, already saw the match Drew McIntyre versus Sammy 3 times on Raw. Yes, but you haven't seen it on WrestleMania. Dan says, is the WWE AJPW deal a one-match thing? Nope. Alex says, Matt Riddle is headed to New Japan. Also, I wasn't expecting that. Unfortunately, leaving America is likely one of the only options he has now when it comes to people actually being willing to hire him. Sean says, Rick Boogs said in an interview with Chris Van Vliet he no longer wishes to wrestle anymore after his release from WWE. That is something I've heard a lot, particularly from people like Braun Strowman. For a lot of people, the WWE is the only company worth committing to. Joey, I don't know more as regards the AJPW deal. Nothing formally has been announced as of yet. William Regal is still working out the actual deal in play. Nice to see you, Joe. Leon says, feels like a lot of top stars like Randy, AJ, Kevin Owens, Drew, Sammy don't have a clear direction for WrestleMania. To be fair, we're still 3 months out. They shouldn't yet. Shouldn't make any assumptions, Wiggly. Shouldn't make any assumptions. It's not up to us, and it's not up to the WWE. Sean says, thoughts on Elias video, and where do you think he'll land? Don't know yet. I think he's trying to look for someone to hire him, and he hasn't actually got anyone lined up as of yet. Michael says, how do you feel about Damian Priest's booking, and also glad you're back? I like it. I think he's being used very well, and he's being very well protected. I don't see an issue with him not cashing in yet, because I'm confident a big moment will be coming. Spider-Boss says, Cody versus Roman 2, does it sound as copy of The Rock versus Cena from 11 years ago, just to give fan service? Yeah. All dream matches are fan service. Wrestling is fan service. I thought that was pretty common knowledge. Like, WrestleMania is fan service. King Azza says, Tom, if Roman is going to retain at WrestleMania 40, if he beats Cody, it will damage his momentum. So if this happens, this will happen. Assumption based on a guess. Razar says, so much news last week, I really missed spoiler warning. To clarify things, I'm always happy to answer questions. You know this. And I definitely dipped into the Discord a few times to try and clarify things also. Jaden says, do you think the AEW contract could be a longer contract or short like the New Japan one? I don't know. I don't know if there is a contract as of yet. No, the other Mike, I did not just get done with a Hell in a Cell match, but I am a little bit rough. What you can do for me is be sure to hit the like button, because we're on 69 right now, and that's nice. 70's nicer. Wants to say, Tom, TK is considering bringing source it. Give me a source. Joey says, do you know who this big signing for TNA could be? Talked about that at length for quite a while now. True, Wiggly. True. Usually 2 years is his limit. Pete says, lagging here a little. Is anyone else getting lag on the stream? Please let me know if you are. Spider-Boss says, WWE can make another offer to Mercedes, but I don't see Nick Khan willing to promote the Mercedes money brand. You are parroting there, mate. That's exactly what I've said to you. Martin says, just finishing off my chest infection and second dose of antibiotics myself. I feel your pain. It seems to be going around sadly. Half the UK had it. Half the UK. It spread through the entire family very quickly. We do what we can. Steve says, is money the real bidding war of 2024? Heard on What Culture that MJF might miss the full year with injury. What Culture's not a source, so we'll wait for more information on that. What I will say is the fight for Mercedes money will likely be the biggest fight of the year, especially now CM Punk is not a free agent anymore. Josh said, deal 90% made, that must mean she signed, but the pen was out of ink. Sean says, do you know if there was an offer made to Deonna before she joined AEW? Not sure on that one. I'm confident there will have been. Thomas says, is there any truth to Wrestling Observer News reporting that WWE are exploring working with New Japan now that Hiroshi Tanahashi is president? WWE were exploring working with Japan well before Hiroshi Tanahashi became president. Gervin says, 2024, can WWE do another Spanish country pay-per-view? First Puerto Rico, how about Mexico? They are considering it, but it depends which countries are willing to pay them the big money. Jaden says, why would they update Mercedes' WWE profile? They wouldn't. I've yet to see any evidence that they did. What rumours are those, 23 Fresh? What rumours are those? Yes, Wiggly, I'm not contagious over the internet. You should definitely celebrate that. Jay says, did they start negotiating with Becky and Seth for their contracts? Yes, they did. We should hear something shortly. Chris says, Bayley and CM Punk are my picks to win the Royal Rumble this month, which is what I've already reported is my pick as well. Kevin says, your thoughts about the Karrion Kross video package on SmackDown? He desperately needed it. Desperately needed something to relaunch him. And he really did need that. Jaden says, Mercedes Money theme song has been removed from Spotify. If she would go to AEW, they'd probably just let her use that theme, but it's been disabled. It depends who has the rights to it. Okay? It depends who has the rights to it. It's not as simple as saying you can just use whatever theme you want to use. It depends who has the right to it, and they may well have taken it off everything because they're trying to limit the license. One says, according to Andrew Zarian, he believes Mercedes Money will debut Wednesday night. Yeah, and Brian Alvarez believed that Mercedes Money would debut last Wednesday night. Let's just wait and see, shall we? Joey says, did New Japan make Tanahashi president to try and keep their top talent happy so they don't keep leaving? No, they made him president because they believed he would be a good president. Like, not everything's about locker rooms. It's a business decision. 23 says, could you see an ECW style match at WrestleMania 40 since it's in Philly? Yeah, but doesn't have anything to do with ECW. Sovik says, any word on Julia? Nope, never had any news about Julia. Still don't. Kevin says, give me Drew McIntyre, Sheamus versus a Judgment Day for tag team championships. That'd be fun. Mr. Stumble says, Tom, can you rank from most trustworthy to least? No. Rob says, Roman is closing in on Bruno's second reign, 1,238 days. Roman is currently at 1,222. Aled says, do you think Randy Orton wins tonight? Yes, I've already reported he will. Wiggly says, in terms of the Hall of Fame, how about Rocky inducting Rocky in Philadelphia? Seems to be absolutely no reason for that to happen. Bailey says, how soon before the Judgment Day breaks up? Basically just as long as it will take for people to stop asking that question. The second you stop asking, that's when it'll happen. That's what happened with the Festival of Friendship. Thomas says, feel like I'm being dull here, but are there any major stars in the AJPW roster? Yes. I suggest you check. Mr. Stumble says, do you find the storylines of a beefy bodyguard for a smaller wrestler too repetitive and boring? No, because ultimately it's not that simple. Quite a lot of storylines are just a case of, oh, Damian Priest is a beefy bodyguard for Dominic Mysterio. No, he just happens to be taller. Height is a thing. Aled says, did you hear news that Michael Cole won't be on SmackDown anymore? Is there a reason for that? I haven't heard that he's never going to be on SmackDown again. It's not something I've heard. Spider-Boss says, it caught my attention when you mentioned R-Truth is the beginning of the fallout of the Judgment Day. Yeah. Literally. Alyssa says, what's going on with Liv Morgan? She is injured. Michael says, Ibu from Wrestle Purists says he was under the impression that Mercedes will sign a multi-year full-time contract. So by under the impression, he means that's what he thinks will happen. Pretty easy one to read, that. Dan says, can't put me on the naughty step being good and giving a like. Good boy. Alex says, I'd have Roman ignore The Rock's comments. He's going to. He's more focused on Randy Orton. Oh, there's definitely someone out there, Stumble, who likes themselves some Randy Orton and Sheamus. Wiggly, you know full well that there is absolutely no chance I'm going to comment on a flippant comment from a wrestling journalist comparing Chris Jericho to Harvey Weinstein. There is literally no chance I'm going to open myself up to a lawsuit like Nick Hausman may have done. Sean says there are plans to split the tag team titles during the build-up to WrestleMania 40. This according to BWE. BWE also reported twice now that there had been new tag team championships and already multiple times reported that the championship belts would be split. Did we all just forget that? BWE are also the ones who reported that Velveteen Dream was returning to the WWE. Did we all just forget that? Sean says, did you like the Becky and Nia match? Haven't watched it, been very sick. Razar says, Mercedes' new theme was taken off Apple Music and Spotify. Does this mean anything? Yes. Joey says, do you know what's going on for Sheamus? Is he still out because of injuries or no creative plans? Injuries. Sean says, any Julia news? No. Damon says, 3 possible returns to SmackDown via Ringside News. Never a great start, mate. Never a great start. Wiggly says, wanted to ask with regards to Charlotte. Never realised how bad her injury was. She posted a very heartfelt message under her real name on social media. Yeah, it's a bad one. It's a real bad one. It's a potential career-ending bad one. Steve says, SRS and Alvarez say a lot of things. That doesn't prove that it's factual. Wiggly is sharing WrestleLamia rumours. I'm just going to read past that. And Chris says, Royal Rumble is in 23 days. Really don't feel like long at all, is it? Mr. Stumble says, do you think Simon from What Culture will ever make it to the WWE? Yes. Genuinely do. I genuinely think he'll have a couple of matches in NXT and then move on. Spider-Boss says, who do you see winning tonight on SmackDown, Kevin Owens or Santos Escobar? I don't know. I haven't seen any spoilers. 23 Fresh says, what's your favourite wrestling character? The Knife Pervert. Though I'm partial to a murder grandpa. Spider-Boss says, so Becky versus Nia on Raw was a good match. Becky sold well, Nia's KO punch. Dan says, do you see Kevin Dunn ending up in AEW? No. What? No. Why would that happen? Alex says, the thing I don't get about SRS is he says he expects Mercedes in AEW but can't confirm she's going there, then goes off on people who ask if she could be at the Rumble. Yeah, that's pretty standard fare. See, what he does, and this is true of a lot of wrestling journalists, is say something vague and then get annoyed at people who say he's saying something vague. That creates a narrative that he's said something spot on, but protects him because he hasn't. The narrative that is created by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful is, I'm infallible. And he protects that by getting rid of any dissenting voices. That's why he's so quick to block and why he's so quick to remove comments and replies. Any dissenting voices, gone. Because anyone who even slightly questions him has to go. A casual observer who doesn't really know who he is goes onto his Twitter feed and all they see is how fantastic this guy is. How amazing this guy is. There's a reason for it. He knows what he's doing. Thank you, Bailey. Appreciate you. Joe says, Tom, what do you think about The Rock when he said what he said on Raw? I think he knows how to get a crowd talking. Martin with another very generous donation. Thank you, Martin. Says, with Kevin Dunn leaving, do you see Bruce being next? SRS said the old regime will all be going within 1 year. That's all. It won't be within 1 year, and it depends how you define old regime. Technically, Nick Khan is old regime. What I will say is it's nothing to do with Vince. This is all down to Nick Khan, and Kevin Dunn wasn't particularly happy staying in the WWE. He wanted to move on, so he did. Thank you again for another very generous donation. It's the flu, Razar. It's just the flu. Wiggly says, any speculation as to who Sting's final opponent is going to be? I could not care less. Could not care less. It's one of those where the fact that Ric Flair is even slightly involved in it has done tremendous damage. Tremendous damage. As regards Sapp, Brad Becker says, yeah, I can vouch for that. Spider-Boss says, SRS always gets mad when people don't give credit to him. I just put you over and he got angry. Yeah, pretty standard. Jaden says, what injury does Charlotte have? It's a pretty serious knee injury, the sort that ends footballers' careers. They never have the legs after. King Adder says, Tom, do you think Seth will cost CM Punk the Royal Rumble? That would be great. No. Seth's a face, don't forget. Stumble says, Tom, is it true saying allegedly before saying rumours does cover you from lawsuits? Saying rumours alone suggests that they're not true. The fact is, if you present something as fact and it's blatantly untrue, you could be opening yourself up to a lawsuit. It's that simple. I protect myself as best I can, and I highlight the fact that this is an entertainment show. I use the old Fox News trick, where this is an entertainment show. This is supposed to be entertaining. Do you guys find the show entertaining? Genuine question. Do you find yourselves entertained? Are you not entertained by spoiler warning? Because if you are, hopefully Tom Colohue ain't getting sued anytime soon. Because it's an entertainment show. Aled says, obviously signing Mercedes is good for AEW, but it could be bad. Everything could be both good and bad. Appreciate that, Martin. I will definitely keep that in mind. Josh says, shame so many wrestling reporters function exactly the same as psychics pretending to hear dead people. I like the way you phrase that. Sean says, did you see Shotzi got married and wrestled on her wedding day? Yes, I did. That's an insane level of commitment. She needs to take a day off. Sean says, did you see... I've already read that one. Sovic says, from current free agents, who do you see as successes like Mustafa Ali or Nick Nemeth? Andrade, definitely. He's a free agent at the moment. Mercedes, naturally. But there's quite a few. Mustafa Ali is definitely going to be the most successful, though. And yes, I include Mercedes in that. The bit has been... he's going to be able to do whatever he wants, and he's going to really benefit from it. Steve says, what do you make of the Tama Tonga situation? Just won the Never title, but his contract is up soon. Do you think he pulls a Carl Anderson and signs with WWE as champion? Personally, I think it questions the validity of the report that his contract is up soon. King Azar is entertained. Wiggly's entertained. Brad's entertained. Josh is genuinely entertained by Tom's entertainment regarding sports entertainment. I like that. I like that. Spider-Bell says, who do you think will be Jade Cargill's first feud on the main roster? I've mentioned it before. I think Nia Jax is going to be up there. Sean says, who do you think will be Butch's tag team partner against Pretty Deadly? Sheamus. Jaden, Mercedes does not have any contract. Joey says, Tama Tonga revealed this will be his last month in New Japan. Do you think the WWE will be interested again? Once again, I do believe it questions the validity of that statement. We'll see how it goes from there, but it may well be that he picked up a win knowing that he'd have to lose it again pretty soon. Damon says, Sean Rossap will post more about the latest on Julia from Stardom from Fightful Select soon. I'd imagine it's going to be, yeah, she's going to WWE. Probably in NXT. Or something way more vague. Wants to say, Tom, is Mercedes money a potential flight risk for AEW? Nope. Michael says, maybe I missed this. You mentioned in the caption about Mercedes 2024 World Tour. Are you referring to just AEW and Japan? Yes, I am, though AEW by nature brings with it a number of other companies, for example, AAA, where Mercedes money is hoping to get some matches under her belt. Working with AEW does allow her to work at a much wider field, but Stardom is an area she wants to spend a lot more time with. There is going to be a Mercedes World Tour to promote her intentions. Sean says, will we see Jade Cargill debut in the Rumble? That's what I've been believing for a while now. Kevin says, good evening, Tom. So glad to see Spoiler Warning is back. Your work has motivated me to make a leap of faith and try my hand at creating a wrestling podcast. I wish you a speedy recovery. Thank you kindly, Kevin. I appreciate that. What I will say is if you're planning on creating a wrestling podcast, feel free to reach out on Discord if you'd like to talk shop at any point. Jaden says, do you think we'll see Jade before the Rumble? Nope. Dan says, it's entertaining, definitely more entertaining than Fox News and more factual. 23 says, who are your favourite wrestling content creators? I don't watch too many now, to be honest. I would always lean in the direction of people like Ricky Ucchino rather than people like Dave Meltzer. Hey KJ, by all means just zip back, you know where it is. Joey, I have no news on Julia. Mr. Stumble says, Tom, didn't the entertainment excuse get thrown out the door when the Sandy Hook guy from the USA tried to use it? Yes, but it did succeed for Fox News. And this is why I'm not planning to sit here and say anything about Sandy Hook. You might suggest that if you're not a dick, you stand more chance of not being sued. It was the intention, Michael. It was just the injury. It was the intention. Spider-Boss says, it doesn't surprise me WWE's fans complaining about Mercedes just because she didn't return. Well, plenty of time yet. Sean says, will Jade be a face or heel? Neither. Ryan says, boring mate, I often throw money away on things I don't like. P.S. Love this show. Aled says, do you expect many surprise entrances at the Rumble? Yes. Spider-Boss says, good video about Mercedes money. It really helped me understand what is happening with Mercedes. I'm really glad that I created that and that people are now finding it, because it's still relevant now what happens with Mercedes money. The amount of misinformation that is thrown around about Mercedes is ridiculous. Sean says, speaking of Jade Cargill, Natalia posted a video on her Instagram of Jade training in the Hard Dungeon. Liv was there, as was Angelo Dawkins and Ricky Starks. Sean says, hey Tom, did you watch Wrestle Kingdom? And if you did, what did you think of it? Not as of yet. I've been working full time and also trying to get as much sleep as possible because I'm still very sick. JJ says, I kind of want AJ Lee back. Her and Becky in a promo battle would be really good. One said, just last year, Dave Meltzer reported no Mercedes will not be at AEW. Now a year later, he says AEW is the favourite. A year's a long time. Things can change. Sean says, when will we see Andrade show up in WWE? When and if he chooses to. When and if he chooses to. And not a moment before. Sean says, that video of AJ Lee training with CM Punk was apparently for the show Heels. Yeah. Jaden says, I saw your men's Royal Rumble predictions. Are you going to do women's Royal Rumble predictions? That is the plan. I do intend to do that. I've just been too sick to actually get it done. When PLE Wednesdays returns this upcoming week, it will be with a fully booked women's Royal Rumble. That's the plan. I'll be recording it on Tuesday, editing it on Wednesday, and it will be going live. And on Thursday, you'll be getting another video. I'm committing to it now. And this will be the start of my long-term strategy for 2024. Oh. KJ says, Tom, do you remember around when you spoke about Mercedes so I can watch later? Straight from the off, mate. Straight from the off. I didn't read any comments from the chat. So if you zip back right to the beginning, we go straight into it for about the first 10 minutes. Damon says, Fightful Select reported about New Japan wrestler Clark Connors interested in going to WWE. Cool. I'd imagine a lot of people don't know who that is, but it might be worth checking out. A lot of people from New Japan, apparently. Spider-Boss says, it's been fun watching Christian Cage on AEW. I like his dead dad jokes. Check in with your father once in a while. Check in with your father. And one way you can check in with good old-fashioned me is to make sure you've hit like and subscribed to the channel. We are currently on 79 likes. One more gets us to 80. We have also gained 7 new subscribers during the show, reaching a new record 5,473. 5,473. A massive thank you to all of you for the constant support. This has been a very well-attended show. Clearly, a few of you guys have missed me. Let's keep this going with spoiler warning on Monday. I will point out once again, there will not be a watch party for SmackDown tonight. There will not be a watch party. Just spoiler warning today. On Monday, we'll be back to spoiler warning. WTF Wrestling is unlikely this weekend because, as you can see, but then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will have 2 videos and 2 live shows. So hopefully you guys can look forward to that. Triple H pulled a Tony Khan and hyped up a massive announcement that completely failed to deliver and completely underwhelmed. The announcement was that Money in the Bank this year would be going to Canada, to Toronto. That was not the huge piece of news that everyone was expecting, but Triple H certainly quite enjoyed himself and knew what he was doing. Sean says, do you agree with Cody winning Superstar of the Year over Roman and Sami and Kevin winning Tag Team of the Year? Yes, Roman has not turned up all year. Thank you, Jack, for letting me know. First ad today. Good. Still rolling through. Glad they're not too intrusive. Michael says, never thought I'd be so invested in Christian Cage, but his facial expressions cracked me up so much. I like his whole character. Dan is apparently new and he likes his caps lock. Joey says, I'm glad you're back. Really missed spoiler warning. Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. Josh says, your men's Rumble prediction video was too good. I'll now be legitimately disappointed if Roman isn't number 30. That's a shame. Mr. Stumble says, Tom, if we view Dave Meltzer as a National Enquirer of wrestling news, it makes it easier to digest. Okay. Jaden says, Mercedes been hinting a WWE return on her Insta. She hasn't. She's been trolling. Steve says, it's still massive. Ryan says, have to jump, I'm afraid. Get well soon, and everyone, enjoy SmackDown if watching. Take care all. Thank you very much for joining us, Martin. Steve says, Canada getting PLEs regularly is very important. It very much is. Joey says, what was the point of clickbaiting? Did Triple H do on purpose to troll the fans? Yeah. Sean says, everyone thought the appearance of the former world champion was Batista. It was Jinder Mahal. We all know that now. The dude says, I think the arena spoiled the announcement as they put tickets on sale for the event before WWE formally announced it. Quite possibly, yes. Always something worth considering. That does happen more than the WWE would like. That was wheezy. Yeah. Edward Brooks, welcome. And say, Tom, glad you're back. Excited for the road to the Rumble starting for Damage Control tonight. I want to talk to you all about my plan, my strategy for this channel in 2024. So it's a relatively simple plan. What I'm going to do is set myself a target. That target is for 1 million views in 2024. 1 million views. Last year, 800,000. That's the record we reached for the entirety of views on the channel since it launched. I'm hoping to do that in 1 year, something I haven't been able to do in the past 5. I think it's doable. What I'm looking for is an average of 2,700 views per day in order to get there. You may have seen me using the shorts option. That is going to be key to the growth of the channel going forwards, but it's not going to be the only strategy I use. I have a number of different ideas with how to get more views onto the YouTube channel. I'm planning to expand what I'm doing over on TikTok. TikTok at the moment is just a backup area that I have. I'm not posting everything on there, but I'm posting enough to sort of wet the whistle. I'm trying to come up with a few new ideas of content to create over there. Much is what you've seen already in the short section and what has guaranteed me a fair whack of views already. In addition to that, I'm setting out my stall, setting out my shows. The shows that you get regularly, the live shows will be spoiler warning. The non-live shows will be WTF Wrestling, PLE Wednesdays, and one more that will be debuting this Thursday. They will be generators. The Thursday video in particular is designed to bring in casual viewership, and then hopefully they'll check out spoiler warning and decide to stick around. Spoiler warning will still be the flagship show. There is one more plan I have, and that is the use of a different form of social media, that being X, formerly known as Twitter. What I'm doing, and what I'm doing while I've been sick and trying to work, is putting together a comprehensive list of reports that I've made on this channel that have been proven true. So far I've got 21. My plan is to create one thread on Twitter and post about one of these each day. I'll be hoping for your help and assistance there to comment on them and to hover on them. The fastest way to ensure that a tweet goes viral is to ensure that there is enough content in it to convince people to sit there on it for 2 minutes, 120 seconds. If you get that, you get a huge boost to the growth and the opportunity to get it on the For You page. If I do that on one tweet and then the next day I tweet something else under it and get similar traction, it snowballs, and before you know it, you're getting hundreds of thousands of views on that original tweet. which then encourages people to check that tweet out and forces growth for all the tweets that follow it. So far, as I say, I've got quite a few. October 2nd, 2019, reported on The Rock returning to work with Becky Lynch. December 8th, 2019, reported that Brody Lee would be signing with All Elite Wrestling. December 16th, 2019, reported Kairi Sane was going to be returning from injury in time for the Royal Rumble after she sustained a head injury in TLC. December 20th, 2019, reported Shayna Baszler would challenge Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 36 and that Baszler would feature in the 2020 Royal Rumble. January 9th, 2020, reported an increase in NXT integration with the main roster, including planning beginning for returns for names such as Kevin Owens and Asuka. January 9th, 2020, reported that Nia Jax's return schedule was for a return at WrestleMania, particularly the Women's Battle Royal. The match was scrapped due to the pandemic, and Jax returned the next day. January 25th, 2020, reported AJ Styles was not someone Paul Heyman was planning to push and would be moving to SmackDown after WrestleMania. I have pages upon pages upon pages of this stuff. I will be posting one consistent Twitter thread with evidence of all of it and links to this YouTube channel. The plan, quite simply, is to add one new tweet every single day for as long as I possibly can, thus driving traffic from Twitter, from X, to this YouTube channel. If I am driving traffic, not only am I saying this is why you should be following and subscribing, but I'm also guaranteeing that anyone who clicks on one of these videos has one of my videos in their watch history, which means that more of my videos will start to appear on their For You page. That's the plan. And personally, I'm very excited for it because I think it's a very good one. I will need your help, and I'm asking now because I do feel replies, likes, retweets, all of that guarantees growth of the main tweet that everything else stems from. Once that starts popping up on people's For You page, the momentum will become self-fulfilling. And I'll be on that For You page every single day. I'm asking for your help because it will guarantee that I get up to a very, very healthy 1 million views this time next year. Let me know what you guys think of that plan, by the way. If you think it's a bad plan, let me know. Spider-Boss says, Mercedes posts anything and fans believe she'll return to WWE. She loves to troll fans. She genuinely does. Wants to say, Tom, I wonder if the rest of the women in AEW will be upset at the big, enormous money offer Mercedes money will potentially get. No. Edward says, are you team yeet or no yeet? I'm team eat it or yeet it. So, technically. Steve says, cue that famous Dr. Evil gif. I got a plan. What can I say? I got plans. Dan thinks the SmackDown Women's Division is the best right now in WWE. Michael says, Mercedes cleared to wrestle. I believe she has been, yes. Again, don't quote me on that. But to my knowledge, she has now been cleared. But she will have to also be cleared by an AEW doctor. Wiggly says, Tom, have you thought of doing merch? I've thought about it. The idea of pin badges is a very good idea, and I appreciate you for that. WTF Wrestling could be a brand that does pretty well. That's a genuinely good idea. I'll have a think about that. Thank you. Josh says, let's go, people. We can make him Tom DiBiase, the 1 million viewed man. I like what you did there. No, Wiggly, there is no possibility that I will ever do a wrestling phone-in. No possibility whatsoever that I will ever platform anyone that I have not personally vetted. Stumble says, Tom, why don't we appreciate former world champion Jinder Mahal? Why do we hinder Jinder all the time? You got me, mate. You got me. Brad says, I'd like and retweet a lot of your tweets as well. My friend, you already do, mate. You already do, and I appreciate you for it. Spider-Boss says, it will be fun to watch Ava Raine help Roman at WrestleMania 40. Spider-Boss says, you could post a thread on Twitter with a Mercedes money news. Why? I need to give people a reason to actually come to this YouTube channel after all. Michael says, don't you think the wrestlers would know that business is business and not get upset by someone negotiating a good contract? Yeah, people genuinely aren't too fussed with it. It's not a big deal. Kevin says, can WrestleMania 40 top WrestleMania 39? It can. Eric is hoping MJF recovers quickly. Joey says Tom DiBiase Jr. Razar says, are the Mercedes and WWE talks over, or are they still negotiating? I cover all of that at the beginning. What I will say is that the door is not closed. And Leon says, I was so excited to see the return of the legend, Jinder Mahal. Oh yeah, and The Rock. And Joe says, Tom, I can do it when I get my Twitter account back. I need to finish going through everything. So far, I'm up to May 18th, 2021, which is not today. So there is still quite a bit to go through. And so far, I've only gone through the videos. I need to start going through the actual live shows after that as well. So there's quite a lot of ground to cover. I do suspect I'm going to end up with more than 100 of these. And I'm excited for that. It'll be a good 100 days. I'm very excited. There's no formal agreement. Joe, there's no formal agreement. Wouldn't worry too much about it. We currently have 89 viewers and 81 likes. A fantastic number of likes. With what I'm doing at the moment, I'm going back through a lot of old videos, realizing, 1, my audio was genuinely terrible. 2, I was not a confident speaker at all. And 3, my record is 27 likes, and I was fighting and fighting and fighting to try and break that. Look at me now. We finished on 482 views on this stream. Likely another couple hundred more with people on catch up, because we get plenty of that. I very much appreciate everyone checking out this show. I will be back on Monday for more. Spoiler warning, no watch party tonight. What I will say is that keep your eyes peeled. There is plenty of good stuff ahead. If you're looking for the Mercedes news, zip back to the beginning. Just rewind this stream right back to the beginning. It's all there. The first 10 minutes or so will tell you everything you need to know. In the meantime, keep your eyes peeled for that Twitter thread. I will be, at least briefly, subscribing to Twitter to expand the range of it. Okay, just going to be very transparent here. I'm planning to pay for Twitter for a couple of months to drive further traffic to this YouTube. That's the plan. That's all Twitter's really good for now. In the meantime, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone for being here, for joining me so rapidly, and for missing me so much. That genuinely feels amazing. I'm not a man who feels particularly important. I'm not a man who feels that many people like him. So it's very reassuring that everyone was so keen to be here. I'm going to go and rest up. I can see you guys suggesting the same. Huge thanks to all of you. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic, and I'll see you all very soon.